check.
Action replays in magnified fortune. To me, Corona means Italy. Potatoes and chicken. Voila. Legal. They don't like the gas. Not good. When they gaze upon Yosemites. Michigan gave us Votan. We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President Mike Pence and his wonderful wife Karen. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
All right. We're getting close. I can... Yeah, where's the emojis? Fire them up. Go ahead. If you're on Facebook, give me a frowny face, angry emoji. You know you can do it.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately. I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
The heck with it. I think we should start straight in here. Hold on. Oh, it's still playing the song over there. That's nice. Welcome to the show, everybody. Good morning. Hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Mornings, Mega Worldwide. Good to see you. Very exciting day of the same stupid shit. By the way, the Major will be joining us, and in the first hour, we're getting him the proper link. Apparently, I've been on the road and things are wacky. And then, of course, Philip Bittner will not be joining us for the second hour. He's fine. He's okay. He just has other commitments. Don't worry. Well, worry a little bit. I don't know how you, because I don't subscribe to worry. I just refuse to do it. I view worry as weaponized imagination. Now, I have been relatively productive. Let me bring something up. I want to show you something, but I got to bring it in here. Where are you? Oh my God. Why do my windows get moved all over the place? The struggle is real. At some point, I'm going to have to just turn over control of my, where is it? There we go. And this, and then there you go. And then there's this. Right. I'm going to have to turn over control of my computer to you guys. That's just how it's going to work. Okay. I made an infographic because I'm crazy like that. Just to remind some folks while we're waiting on the major, let's see if this works properly. Hey, it does. Look at that. The $6 billion that's in the Qatari bank that they're negotiating releasing to Iran right now, that's the same $6 billion that Biden allegedly gave them for hostages. The same $6 billion, same money. The money that was in a South Korean bank because Donald Trump allowed Iran to buy oil or allowed Iran to sell oil to South Korea. Allowed South Korea to buy it from them, gave them waivers. Waivers started giving Iran waivers in the beginning of his presidency because he wanted to cadaver oil prices because he genuinely thinks that's that shipping is behind the cost of everything and moving it around. So he thinks trucking is the reason shit is expensive, not the making of the shit, which he has no idea how anything works. So the $6 billion is from money earned by Iran from oil they sold to South Korea. Money that never left the South Korean bank to go to Iran, by and large, because Donald Trump was caught. Let's see. Should we go just a second? Should I go? Go back and try. I'm waiting to be let in. Okay, it might be an issue with that link. It shouldn't be, but let me see if this one jumps in. Is there a no? I'm gonna switch over and see if it wakes up. Sometimes if I turn the thing off and on again, it wakes up. Maybe not. I'm going to give him another link just to see if that's the issue. Yeah? If that's all right. It should be the same one, but I'm going to give the major another link, sending it your way, just in case that's the problem. Sometimes it's the cache on their browser that gets funky. Anyways, so money before 2023, largely during the Trump administration, the first 2 years and change of the Trump administration, when he secretly under the table gave Iran waivers to their sanctions. And then when everybody caught on, he was like, oh, that's not happening. And it froze those assets in a South Korean bank. And they've been sitting there ever since. When Biden traded it for the hostages, what they ultimately did was moved it to a bank in Qatar where it sat, and Iran was allowed technically to use that for food and medical supplies, buying it wherever they wanted to buy it from. Well, guess what? They never spent a dime of it. They didn't touch it because they don't need any of that shit. They sell a lot of oil under the table. They sell a lot of arms to Russia. So they didn't need it. And it sat there, I guess, gaining interest or being managed by the government of Qatar, or whatever they were doing with whatever you do when you're sitting on $6 billion. You'd have to ask 2 Jared Kushners. Anyways, yes, you must clear your cash, Patel. That's right. So the funds were held in South Korea. During the prisoner swap, they were moved to that. It never was U.S. taxpayer money any more than the Obama $1.7 billion was. And when Trump said the green cash thing again this weekend, again, it's only green if it was in 50s in Swiss francs, because it was traded by and large in Swiss francs, largely in bigger denominations, 100 and 250 bills, which I believe are purple and puce, whatever. Anyways, so the $6 billion sat in the bank, and it's still there. Hey, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the great and the powerful. I was just going through something on here. Let me bring in this. I have a guest button on here. I know it works. Dink. Will this work? Hey, there he is. Welcome to the show, brother. Good to see you. So, I was waiting patiently for your arrival, and we'll get to your campaign. Ojeda for NC.com is the website. Please check it out. Help out, support, sign petitions, join the call centers, donate if you can. We're early in this process, but he's got a really strong chance of winning. I if I had a house, I'd bet it on it. But I was just going through the $6 billion that Trump is, along with the $12 billion from other sources that Trump is transferring to Iran, and allowing them to have access to it after all of his BS about Barack Hussein Obama, Have you heard of him? That garbage, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna send it. There you go. That's much better. He is giving them way more money than than Obama ever came close to doing, and he's going to give them access to this $300 billion fund, which they are alleging is coming from the Gulf states, but clearly comes from our military budget. That money is effectively a bank shot payment through those countries. Like, here, we'll pretend we're supporting you, like you guys are, our new Abraham Accord partners. So we'll transfer that money to you, and then you give it to Iran, wink, wink. The whole thing is just a farce. It's brutal. And every day I keep seeing people act like this is a real thing, and it is mind-boggling. It's next up. They're going to be reporting on how clean the reflecting pool is.
Yeah. It's this. I just can't believe this stuff that we're seeing, and I have to start. Like this morning, I was asking myself, are there really people out there that are going to continue falling for this? Like the damage to the reflecting pool that somebody had took a knife up the entire center of it. I mean, it just amazes me. I mean, when are these people going to wake up? And there's still a significant amount of people in this country that fall for this garbage. And once again, everything that Donald Trump throws stones at Joe Biden because Donald Trump could never meet, the levels of the standards of Joe Biden. And it's horrible.
Yes.
This is a loss. This is a lost war, is what this is. And the truth is that we should have never been there in the first place. We allowed Bibi Netanyahu to drag us into this. And, and that's another thing, they've completely destroyed Gaza. Over 100,000 people have been killed. And they went straight into Lebanon because they have no desire to stop. And then there's still people out there that are trying to defend this garbage and defend Bibi Netanyahu. They don't want peace. They want war nonstop. Is what they want. And they want to have everything. And they want to use the United States of America's military and our money to accomplish their goals. And then, it's garbage.
Well, so there are a couple of things, obviously, to that, not the least of which is that I am constantly amazed at the folks that thought Donald Trump would be better for Gaza than Harris would. Like, it's maniacally stupid. And to some degree, so much so that I refuse to think that other people are that stupid. They had to have meant it. They had to have known he would be terrible, and they were for it. They just it's like accelerationist philosophy. Like, maybe if things turn to shit faster, the revolution will happen. So we should do everything we can to make it worse. Like, that's the Susan Sarandon, methodology. Like, crash everything so that utopia will come in its place, and every revolutionary believes this. Maybe that's what it is, because you can't be that stupid about it.
Yeah, when all is said and done, I'm telling you right now, it wouldn't. When all the evidence finally comes out, nothing surprises me. Elon Musk, Bibi Netanyahu, Putin, they were all part of participating in trying to make sure that Donald Trump, won his seat this time. The only people, the biggest losers are the United States of America. The biggest losers are the people in this country that used to actually have a decent country. And now, with this entire administration, the last officer to leave Afghanistan, 4-star General Donahue, who was over top of the 80s, he's led the 18th Airborne Corps. Now he's basically gone. They're destroying the continuity of our military. They're getting rid of really solid leaders. They're getting rid of the solid leaders that's got courage, and all the cowardly leaders are sitting silent. When this is over with, we're going to be led by a bunch of cowards in our military because they've gotten rid of all the ones that have balls.
There was this period where the Trump administration was beating their chest about rehiring or giving people back their promotions who had lost them because they refused to get vaccinated during COVID. I feel like that should be a big move by Democrats. Is like, we're gonna, I guess, bring back all the people that Donald Trump kicked out because of DEI and stuff. There's this thing right now in women serving in the military called Five and Dive, which is instead of dedicating their career to the military and planning on staying it for their life, just do 5 years and get out. Like do your, commission and leave, because there's a glass ceiling there because of Hegseth and that crowd. So we're losing all that future leadership as well. And again, Republican.
Why would they? And why would they? Why should they stay when they're
Right.
And you know what? People of color. I mean, and I hate that because, this has offered so many people opportunities. The military will help you get educated. The military will help you see the world. It's such a wonderful, organization. And because of the buffoonery that is in charge of it today, like literally, Pete Hegseth is taking people of color off of promotion lists. And you got to understand, when you make a promotion list, that means you are getting promoted. It means you've done everything. And this list says, yep, you're going to be one of the next ones receiving your rank on the first of the month. That's what it means. And he's going in there and removing people of color from promotion lists and removing women from promotion lists. They have removed people's names like Colin Powell from a wall in Arlington that talks about people that are very influential leaders that are buried in Arlington. They've taken pictures down of leaders that of color who have and I tell people, look, every single leader that we have in our military had to cross every bridge, not just military, civilian world. They've had to cross every bridge that we had to cross, and then they had to cross bridges we never had to cross. And to have their their ranks taken from them. And you're right, it's almost as if same thing for people of color. If they're not going to let you elevate yourself when you do the work and pass all the tests, then why should you stay there?
Why walk down a dead end road? Why walk down a dead end road? It makes no sense. And then we know that there is this farce around Trump backing the blue, for example, because of just look at January 6th and the defense of the Jan 6ers and the chest beating about this nonsense. When he looks at them as like foot soldiers in his dipshit revolution, these people, attacked police officers on the day. They took a dump in the rotunda. They had to be diverted through other hallways. The cops that let them in were overwhelmed and went, okay, there are doors now that are locked between these folks and the Congress people that we're evacuating. They cannot get to those hallways if we let them enter these doors or divert them down these hallways. And these assholes turned two corners and ended up in the parking lot out and back of the Capitol. That's how they did it. When they were letting people in, going, hey, yeah, come on through. These people, they were like cattle. They went down a corral and they ended up outside again. They were like, oh, this is fun. And that was it. Yep. But it was the only thing the cops could do except open fire. Right. Yeah. And they chose not to. And they absolutely could have. And there's a lot of circumstances where they would have, and in this particular case, because of the volume of human beings and the awareness that they were armed, there was a guy firing a gun off on the little tower out there. There was a dude with a truckload of guns. There were bombs. Ashley Babbitt had a knife. They were planning on stabbing people, killing people, strangling them with their bare hands, hanging them, shooting them. It was just absurd. So the idea that he's elevating these people is, and still backing the blue is just dumb. On the other side of that, same thing with soldiers. I just wanted to finish this thought, which was the suckers and losers conversation. And I've said this before, but it bears repeating. It is completely believable that the guy who said that John McCain wasn't a hero because he was captured, that thinks POWs aren't heroes for surviving, keeping their secrets, not breaking under pressure, just living through that and managing to make it home, especially those that stayed behind like McCain did with his fellow soldiers. Like he could have left because he was an officer. They would have given him up and traded him for something, but he said no and he stayed and they harmed him even further. Can't lift his arm. He could never lift his arms above his shoulders because of that. Like Trump, this idea that, and him taking credit for the VA Choice Act of 2014 when it was signed by Obama and put forward by a Republican congressman from Kentucky. Just like all of it's a farce. So why does anybody think with that kind of history that this deal is actually a deal and not him punting until after the midterms, where if he wins, he's, and has the support, they'll just go all in and the maggots will have to suck it because he's going to do whatever warring he wants to do because he's won and he's more popular and it was counties and whatever his number nonsense will be. Or if he loses, screw this, I'm going to do whatever I want. And you guys can do all your war power stuff you want, but I don't care. I'm just going to order the military to attack Cuba. I'm just going to order the military to attack, Colombia next or whatever the hell, and still attack Iran again.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I was saying is with Ashley Babbitt, the reason why she was shot is because she broke through a window and she was trying to climb through it. And the guy that was on the other side of that door knew that the door behind him was the door to the members of Congress. So
you could see them.
Not let her.
They were leaving.
If she would have got through, who knows what would have happened? I mean, they could have, they would have known this is the place, and then, so that's the reason why she was shot and killed. And
she punched a fellow maggot in the face so she could be first through the window. She socked this dude so that she could climb. The guy was bashing the glass. She wanted to be first through. That's how wound up she fucking was. She hit one of her own just so she could be first through the window. In theory, that they'll shoot you, but they won't shoot a woman. So even though, anybody who's in the military knows that your gender, your sex goes out the window in a firefight. Like nobody cares. Like easy guys, it's a female sniper. Like get out of here. It's just stupid. There was a bit of breaking news this morning, which I think sums up the reality of the Trump administration and the lie that they put to everything. They pretend that they sell to maggots and pretend to believe themselves. Trump has postponed the signing of the Housing Act that was passed overwhelmingly. One of the biggest bipartisan things to pass in a while, besides the Epstein bill, co-written by Elizabeth Warren, passed the House 358 to 32, something like that, and passed the Senate, like 85 to something. I don't know who showed up and who didn't. I'll see if I can find the actual count on it. But it's he's not going to sign it until they get rid of the filibuster to pass the Save America Act. And I would like to say for the record that the Save America Act, if you passed it today, would not go into effect until next year, because that's how bills work. If he was going to hold shit up, he would have had to do it last year for the midterms, because the bill can't go into effect that fast. That's how bills, they don't immediately happen. And especially when they require the states to do shit, like it's going to be months before they can comply and show compliance and that kind of stuff. So even beyond January 6th of next year, or whatever the technically when the budget year goes into effect, the Save America Act wouldn't go in, it wouldn't impact the midterms at all. And yet he's going to stop the housing bill, which would be part of the funding for this year, where money would go out the door.
Crazy. I mean, it's where we are. I every single day I sit and I think to myself, good Lord, how much longer are we going to be on this path before the people finally stop it? And I mean, it's going to, I think it's just going to take, it's going to take the people, because make no mistake about it, we can't rely on our military to do anything, because once again, they're getting rid of all the people that have any backbone, and they're keeping the cowards. And look, I think it's time that we start calling it out, to all the general officers out there. Are you a coward? I cannot believe the capitulation with these people. They're falling right in line. And I just,
well, okay.
we're gonna lose our democracy.
Here's the thing. In terms of the real on the ground stuff, in terms of our military, most stuff, with I think the rare exception of, and again, this was earlier this year, we don't have any evidence or information. That's part of the problem too, coming from the White House, about like them shooting more boats in the Gulf of Mexico and that kind of stuff. They may be, but they're no longer releasing the footage. We understand from Maggie Haberman and her new book that Trump and Hegseth were like, fapping and giggling to videos of people that they could watch from, aerial photographs and aerial video of guys drowning and burning alive, and they were laughing about it. But we don't know how many of them are actually doing any of that stuff, or if the pullback on that has come from the non-commissioned officers and the commissioned officers in that chain of command that are like, yeah, I'm not going to do this, where they lined up so much that they're like, that's why we're not seeing that anymore, because they're not doing it. And Trump just doesn't, he wants to brag about, if he did it once, you assume it's continued, even if it stopped. And he wants people to believe that, so he just blows it off.
Well, I think they just recently said that now they've crossed the 200 deaths in the Caribbean not very long ago. I mean, so that right there tells you that they're still doing stuff. They're just not, once again, once they got caught doing the wrong thing, now they're going to continue doing the wrong thing. They're just going to make sure it's harder for people to be able to, see it.
Right. So the deal, the 14-point memorandum of dipshittery that they have been throwing around. Trump, let's just start with like breaking that down from do we even think this is real? Because beyond it just being a farce in his head and him just being his brain turning to tapioca. The first paragraph, the first section of that 14-point memorandum of understanding mentions Lebanon 3 times and specifically deals with Israel and Hezbollah, not fighting, and that being the predicate by which, that's the first thing out of the gate that's in this 14 points. And if you'll recall, the Iranians put forth the 14-point memo back, peace plan last fall, I guess, before the attack happened, about, the nuke stuff. They started talking about how they would come to like a broader regional understanding. And then, of course, after the attack, it became more noise, but it was still 14 points most of the time. The American one was 10. We're at 14. We're going by their paperwork. We're following what they wrote it down, and we're just rubber stamping it, right? Trump signed a document that very well may have been in Farsi. The one he signed at Versailles looked like it was the Farsi document, which means, of course, he didn't even read if it was in English, but still. Yeah. The first part mentions Lebanon 3 times, and it is predicated on Israel and Hezbollah not firing on each other. Well, first of all proxy talk and puppet regime aside, you can't control that. You cannot sign, 2 parties cannot sign a treaty between 2 parties that are not party to the treaty. Like, you just can't. You cannot and you cannot guarantee the rest of the fucking thing based on what other people that aren't signing the document have to do. It was like, from the first paragraph, you're like, this is nuts and it will never work and it's not meant to. It's anyways, that from that point on, you're like, I don't even know why I read the rest of it. This is such bullshit.
And Donald Trump, obviously nobody has any control over Netanyahu. He's going to do what he wants. Right. He's going to continue pushing forward. They're going to continue. They are already setting up shop in Lebanon. They already have taken so much ground. And if you think they're ever going to give that ground back, and then are they going to go ahead and go into, like every other, this is the domino theory. This is the real domino theory.
Right.
We're watching it with Israel.
Well, PNAC was signed, in concordance with stuff that Israel wanted. They were viewed as an ally more at the time, but with the understanding that part of the reason we were doing this domino thing, flicking in the Middle East in the first part, was to grow, in theory, democracy in the region and open up business and oil and never be tied to what happened in 1979 again. There's like this mix of people in this that all have a chip on their shoulder about one particular fucking thing that happened over 3 or 4 decades. And each of them is a non-starter with somebody, right? Like, and so the fact that this document starts off with an assumption of a treaty between 2 non-parties to the treaty, and then follows up and finishes the final piece of it, the 14th clause, says that not all of the clauses go into effect until some of the clauses have. And the ones that have to go into, guess what? Are they the nuclear non-proliferation stuff? Are they the let the inspectors in shit that are in there? No. It's the parts where sanctions get lifted, money gets out, the strait opens on in 30 days if we meet this other thing. It's 4, 5, 6, and 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
The nuclear stuff is punted for 60 days, if at all. Even the opening of the Strait of Hormuz is a 30-day process under this.
And who says that once they open it, they don't turn right around and close it again?
Right.
Because they can. And now they know that they have that power. They're going to wield it. I mean, this once again, this is also something that has really educated Iran on their capabilities, because now they know they can shut down the Strait of Hormuz and cause pain all over the globe.
Right. Well, okay. So there's an end to that runway and that train track ultimately, and it's demand destruction for oil. There's a point where, and they got very close to it. 120 to 140 is if it ever ticks where oil got near that as a barrel, it like throws a lever that never gets unthrown about the electrification of consumer cars throughout Europe and the United States and Australia and a good part of China, and especially South Korea, Japan, all these other countries where they're just like, okay, screw it. We can't have every human being in our country who drives to work having to rely on oil that goes through the strait or is controlled by the price of oil on the world market that is controlled by the strait. And even the United States, we're getting to that point. So, and I would argue Biden was right that we already have, that this is a direction we're going. The electrification of commuter vehicles is a done deal, and they know it. So they're trying to squeeze the most money out of oil in that last gasp. You could argue this whole war was just to pump up the price of oil so they could sell it for more than it's worth because they know it's crashing. So might as well squeeze everybody at the last, few dollars out of everybody's fucking pocket until everybody goes, screw this, I'm getting an electric car or a hybrid. And the price of the value of a barrel of oil goes through the floor to the point where it's too expensive to take out of the ground. It's more use, it's outlived its usefulness. So I do think that is a part of this, that both Trump and the Iranian regime aren't factoring in. Trump is too stupid, and the Iranians are too greedy in the short term because that's the only thing they've got. They're not going to switch back to, rugs and dates and printers and whatever the hell else, skis, I think, whatever they used to make there before the revolution, right? So Iran has insisted in this document, and this is the part that has to go into effect, that they will receive sanctions relief and direct payments, the $12 billion, the two payments of the $24 billion cut in half, the $6 billion access from Qatar, very possibly the $300 billion in the next 60 days, or the denuclearization, the IAEA stuff can't happen or whatever. The idea that Donald Trump that people around him are going to let him be the president that gives Iran $340 billion and doesn't get denuclearization specifically, where they just, in August or September, they're like, oh, P.S., we got our money and we have a nuke. We got one from Pakistan. Read the fine print, asshole. We've got one and we're building others. And if you try to stop us from building the rest of them, we're going to fire this one at Tel Aviv. End of conversation. That's it. That's all they got to do.
Yep. Yeah. Wow.
It's maddening.
It is. But have no fear. I mean, they're getting ready to invest a whole bunch of money in some more coal-fired plants in West Virginia.
Right? Yeah.
This administration is.
Yeah. We'll give birth defects to everybody there, so they'll be too dumb to know that they're being screwed. That's. I mean.
Well. Sadly, a lot of them are already at that point. So,
yeah.
As much as I hate to say that, it's like just I love where I live now. I think I've seen 2 Trump stickers in the last 2 months.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, a lot of these people can't afford to drive their Ford F-550 trucks with their flags everywhere. But I mean, I really do believe that people are starting to wake up. I just don't know how much longer we have to go down this path and this pain. I worry so much about our military. I
Hmm.
really do, because I mean, literally, the senior leadership that has a backbone are being kicked to the curb. I mean, General Donahue, who is the newest general that's out, because he absolutely did not agree with Pete Hegseth. And let
Right.
that sink in. A 4-star general
Hmm.
does not agree with the National Guard major, who, once again, a weekend a month, 2 weeks a year in the summer, that's 36 daggone days. This is a guy that's got, what, 8 years
Spends
of
spends
36.
twice that amount of time getting drunk and chasing skirt at Republican
That's right.
events.
That's right. That's right. And like, literally, when Hegseth doesn't like it, you get schwacked. 4-star general getting his career schwacked, because this is a guy who could have been chief of staff. This is a guy that is absolutely amazing and is being kicked to the curb because he doesn't agree with, or that he stands up and speaks out against whatever Pete Hegseth, Mr. 36 days a year. And look, I'm not throwing stones at the National Guard, but the National
Yeah.
Guard does not have whenever they go to deployments, they've got to go to like a 6-month training opportunity so they can be up to snuff. And in many cases, it's still not the same. You just don't get that kind of training. But
Right.
I mean, it kills me that we're watching. It's not just the military. Look at public education under Linda McMahon. She's a
Yeah.
wrestler. She's made her billions on wrestling, and she's
Right.
in charge of this. I mean, we got a 22-year-old that's still sitting in the position to protect us from terrorism. That was a grocery store clerk and a groundskeeper. I mean,
Right.
this
Well,
administration is
okay.
killing this country.
Yeah, okay, couple of things. I've said this before, but again, this falls in line with Tulsi Gabbard and certainly Linda McMahon. That and even I would argue, Kristi Noem, is that Donald Trump puts women in charge of things he wants to be either broken or to him to like micromanage. With the case of Noam, it was micromanagement. With everybody else, he wants the thing to collapse because he thinks women can't govern and they can't run anything effectively. He is, and that's why he was so freaked out at the Google CEO that was who's a woman who's at the White House. He's like, and then he just went back to complimenting men in the room or whatever because he just he can't process it. So he thinks he's sabotaging these things that he wants to go away by putting women in charge of it, including Linda McMahon. They don't want the Department of Education to actually work. The only reason what they ran into is the reality of it, which is if you want to control the curriculum and have your, anti-trans agenda and all that kind of horse shit you want to push through, you can't do it without the Department of Education. If you don't have any funds to hold back, if you don't have any carrot or any stick, why would anybody listen to you? The schools will just tell you to get fucked.
Yep.
So that's why he kept it around. He's like, oops, we need the Department of Education because that's the only way I can control them from here. So yeah.
It's sad. It is sad.
It's
I see
pitiful.
I see this. How long do we go down this path? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the guy, he's at a 28% approval rating,
Right.
lowest in the history of our country. I mean, how much lower does he have to go to 0 before people open their friggin' eyes and realize the guy is garbage? I mean,
Well,
it kills me, the people.
Yeah, I think there are, as the number narrows, it would seem in any normal universe that the lower your polls go, the less of a threat you are on a political level. Like, obviously you're unpopular. The problem is with Trump, I think, and this might be some of the calculations that's going on in the, in the rank and file Republicans, is that the tighter that group gets, the smaller gets, the scarier they get. They get to be that like Trump's IRGC level where that you have a bunch of Republicans who are scared shitless, not just of like people showing up at their town halls and yelling at them or them getting primaried or something, but violent attacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They get very cult-like. And those kind of cult members, they don't... there was... Okay, Maggie Haberman in that book, that Jonathan Swan's book, Regime Change, is coming out. They're doing the rounds. And one of the things they talk about is Natalie Harp. Natalie Harp, the woman they call the human printer, who wrote these like ride or die letters to Donald Trump going, I'll never leave you. I'm the most loyal person you'll ever have. Everyone else will go, but I will be there till the very end or whatever. I mean, obviously she might be jockeying to elbow out Melania if she sees an entry point, or get pregnant and, slice off $500 million on the down low or some shit. But it's a good, somebody should warn her, it's a good way to get buried on a golf course. But you and the kid, yikes. But she writes him these letters, and she's the one who walks around. She's the one who creates the illusion that he's up all night. He's absolutely not. He's in a fucking coma. They've had in the book, they even talk about how they had to like go to his door like he was drinking with Kash Patel, because he was supposed to be down in the Oval and he had not answered the room phone, and he was just comatose. He was out. And it was during, I've no doubt, during times when he was allegedly typing like feverishly online, because Scavino and all these dipshits and Chung and Natalie Harper down there going, I think he'd say this, and the nuttier the better, because, if you're trying to make it not sound like it comes from the White House, misspell shit, talk out of your ass, threaten somebody, and, ask him. And anything he even said in passing, just fucking type it and send it out. So she, she's one of these cult member people. There is a chunk of his supporters that are that way, that are going to stay that way, that are, and that's one of the biggest concerns, I think, for maybe, not that I'm defending the cowardice of the rank and file Republicans, but there's a legit threat, because some of these fuckers, they shot up a FBI office in Cincinnati over shit that was done in Florida. These fuckers are bonkers, and there's guaranteed there's a dozen or so Timothy McVeighs in there. So, right?
So do you think that finally getting rid of Donald Trump, those people are going to be legitimate threats for years to come?
Well, here's the thing. I think Republicans, by and large, are hoping he kicks off. They're hoping a stroke takes him, or a trip down the stairs, or he just has a heart attack. This whole 22 doctors and his trip to Camp David and his multiple trips to Walter Reed. He's, I've been under the impression, after what my girl went through with chemo, he's got the same bruises on his hand where you would get a chemo treatment. He's gone for 4 or 5 days. He gets really fucking chatty the day before he disappears, and the couple of days after. That's steroids. Same shit after he had the monoclonal antibodies during COVID, where he had 2 days to just like yappity, 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 and then he's gone, right? That's what's happened. The problem is, there's multiple problems. I don't know if you've seen any of his recent speeches, that one he gave in PA. He had more energy in that than I've seen in a year. And shit doesn't work that way. He's also getting another treatment we'll talk about in a second. But I personally think they're giving him everything. They're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him to help him work. The problem is, if your brain has got plaque all over it and you're just on a hard fail, it's all you're going to do is speed up your fuck ups. You're just going to get to the next gibberish thing, or break away from the weave and wander around talking shit about, or going, telling stories from the campaign trail about transgender athletes. You're just going to do that quicker and I guess more incoherently. And that seems to be what's happening.
It amazes me, because I see people like, I think her name's Caitlin Collins. She's an interview person.
Yeah. And CNN.
Like she asks him these questions, And he comes back and he's literally like pushing his lies back in her face. And like she's calling him out. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like every time he is in front of a microphone, we need more people like her to call him out, because I mean, I don't know how we get past this. And
Right.
like you said, if Donald Trump croaks,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the people they're too cowardly to stand up against him.
Right.
So hoping his heart explodes and he's done is the best path for them. You know, I just
Mm-hmm.
it kills me that the stupidity that comes out of this administration, and how many
Mm-hmm.
people are still out there defending this. You know,
Right.
I was at an event yesterday, a campaign event, and I've got some of my literature that's translated to Spanish, because there's
Sure.
a pretty good significant amount of Hispanic people. And I was, you know, handing these cards out to some Hispanic people. And they looked at me and they said, "We're Republican." And I was like, "What the hell do you mean?
Right.
You support this? You support
I
this? They will snatch you up in a heartbeat." But yet you're going to sit here and claim. You do realize that claiming Republican, if you are Hispanic or Latino, isn't a protection. That just means they're going to deport you anyway.
Well, okay.
This is where
So
we're at.
I got to tell you, I said this, before, when people have an idea of who immigrants are in this country based on, I think, something they heard in 1995, 1996. Because the groups that have been coming here between H-1B visas and the kind of jobs that are growing in the States, as factories close down in the United States, fewer jobs like that where they need cleaning crews and that stuff. You know, there's a fall off effect where they would hire undocumented people to work night shifts, you know, do facility management, that kind of shit. There's fewer of those jobs also. So who comes here? People who run an entire business under the table, a store, a small wholesaler for the rest of the immigrant community in Los Angeles, something like that. And these people have money. They're the people who bought their way into the United States, as opposed to, you know, stampeding across the border like Trump says. And if you've got money during post-COVID to pay somebody $10,000 per family member to get you into the United States, you are not somebody who's expecting to do farm work when you get here. What you're expecting is get in, use an asylum claim, and then, like Paul Ryan and SSI benefits, pull the ladder up behind you. So this illusion that, you know, because of the racism of Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump, it's been around, that they, you know, hate immigrants. They don't hate all those folks. They hate the ones without money. They hate the poor ones. They hate the ones that do the actual work, in the same way that they hate all workers. They look down on them. But the upper middle class ones that buy their way out of an impoverished country, those people, you know, look at Trump as the savior of, that gets them out of and away from the kind of leadership they had there. Like, you know, these are the kind of folks who come to the United States and say, like, if I wanted a country run by a person of color, I'd have stayed in my home country. I'm not kidding. Like, this is the language that a lot of these folks use. And it's because people are all the same. Human beings, whatever color they are, whatever race country they come from, there are multiple levels. There's classes in each one. And if you assume that only the huddled masses are the only ones making it here, that's like something out of the fucking 30s. The people that are coming here, buying their way in the last 10 years, are making money doing crypto and shit, by and large. They're setting up, again, they're getting in using the asylum system in some cases to set up an entire business. Now, you could be for that. You could be like, okay, maybe they want a better life for their people. This is just the modern version of that. This is, I don't know if did you watch Only Murders in the Building?
No.
I don't know if you ever saw it. Okay, it's Steve Martin short. Steve Martin and John Hoffman wrote it, but it's the modern murder she wrote in many ways. But there's a story about this like deli king that lives in the building that supports the podcast and pays for it or whatever. He tells a story about his Greek ancestors and his mother, his Evangelia, coming over in a boat, and she had to pay us. She had a necklace. She had a necklace with gold coins on it around her neck. That was their entire family fortune, and she gave the entire fortune, the necklace, to get to America. And when she came over here, they had 2 gold coins left. They sold one of them, started a business, and they kept one and for a rainy day or whatever. The father, her son, his father kept it. Point being is that the people, if you didn't have a gold necklace around your around your neck, you didn't get in the goddamn boat. They were already rich in their country before they could go to the United States, where they would be seen as lower middle class or impoverished by comparison. But in their country, they were very well to do, or they wouldn't have been able to pay to get here in the first place. Okay. That's more indicative of, and this is not deriding the people that came across the border looking for asylum and that kind of stuff. I'm just saying that this is the shock of the Republican Party and why Tucker Carlson is like, ick, I've got to deal with all these Hispanics now, because you got a bunch of pro-life Catholics from South America who bought their way into the country with 3 payments of 40 grand each to try 3 times to get into the country on an asylum claim, who made it here, and now they're registered. If they're not registered Republicans as citizens, they're raising money or donating to Republicans, and their family members support that. I mean, that's like, again, people are fucking people. This idea that that we've got a lock on racism or something is defeatist. I think in a lot of ways, it's an illness that finds its way in every country. And a lot of those folks, especially when you have somebody like Donald Trump in charge, are like, oh, good, racist Mecca. We'll go there. They'll stiff arm the other brown people I'm trying to get away from. So this illusion that, that you're going to run into a bunch of people, especially who are citizens now, who, a good portion of those folks that you're probably talking to might have been Cuban, refugees 25, 30, 40 years ago, and their families came up through there. And so they've been Republicans ever since, because they thought, I guess, the Kennedys should have started a nuclear war over the Bay of Pigs, right? That we should have taken Cuba and driven the Russians off of it and that kind of stuff. And they still think that, right? That's still where they are. So I'm okay. So by the way, I want to show real quick. Let me bring this up or whatever. Let me shrink this down so we can actually see it. There we go. OjedaForNC.com is the website. You can sign up to the email list, all that kind of stuff. Hold on. Why we try? What? Want to move you to the side? That doesn't make any sense. You're not. Yeah, I'm all cattywampus. That's my fault. Okay. So yeah, I'll move you over. There you go. Yeah,
cattywampus.
I did. Yes. I was just in Kentucky again. So yeah.
That's old school right there, boy.
Yes, absolutely. So
that's some holler talk. That's holler talk right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is one of my mom's most consistent words. Everything's all cattywampus. So OjedaForNC.com, please check it out and support in any way that you can, especially just in, if you're not in North Carolina, eventually we'll get you on a being part of the call centers or doing whatever we can do. But so we've got he stopped the housing bill. He's going to stomp his feet like a toddler and not sign it until they get rid of the filibuster, which if they got rid of it, that would be the rule going through the rest of the year. And if they lose the House and the Senate, which it looks like they'll do, Democrats would have a House and specifically a Senate without a filibuster. Right, where they could pass a bunch of stuff. Now, whether he would veto stuff and go on a veto stampede, that's one thing. But if they put it in must pass stuff, where they are able to pass things using the lack of a filibuster to put Democratic stuff into must-pass bills, and he's got to sign it if he wants his $1.5 trillion military budget or whatever the hell he tries to get through.
Yeah.
Or if even, I mean, again, there's an argument that he's checked out already. But they know this. The Republicans know that they're setting themselves up if they do this, if they get rid of the filibuster right now, because they're reading the actual polls, not the fancy pants ones that they're selling him in the White House that tells him he's a winner all the time and, the sun shines out of his ass. So we know that, he doesn't really care about housing and the like, because he would just sign this immediately and go, look, under Trump presidency, he could spin this if he was any other person. He could spin this and go, I got bipartisan stuff passed. Democrats like to work with me. They just feel like they can't with some things. But there's a way to message this, right? The deal with Iran is garbage. It's continuing to be garbage. It's nonsense. They walked out of the talks and then they came back in to just basically say what they're not going to do. The Strait is not open. It's a trickle compared to what it was. What else? I mean, the gas prices are not coming down. So he attacked them today about, like oil companies, as if the refinery process, which is again on a lag, which ironically is that gas prices will start to come down as oil prices start to go up again because of the deal not going through. He just does not understand anything that's, that is past the end of his belly.
And I don't understand why his administration just continues to keep him in the dark. He has to be kept in the dark. I mean,
right.
It's horrible.
Right.
Sad.
And he is, there's a bully. I've said for a while that RFK Jr. and all these guys are throwing every ivermectin-y thing they can up his ass to try and keep him upright and thinking straight. And again, speed only shortens the time from the bullshit from your brain to get to your mouth. That's really where he is. They've got him it looks like they've got him on, quote, the fat drug. They've got him on retatrutide. There was a 79-year-old man who was granted compassionate use of retatrutide, which is, for those that don't know, a GLP-3. It's made by Eli Lilly. It's GLP-1s or Ozempic and the like. And GLP-3s are a GLP-1 plus two other things, like a glucagon and some other aspect of it. They have 3 amino acids chained together for this peptide to work. And it's got anti-aging benefits and all kinds of stuff. By the end of the year, they'll be talking about putting it in the water. It can't survive in the water. I'm kidding. But the idea is that everybody's going to more than likely be on this. I think the ship has sailed with Trump. I think, again, you can't undo brain damage with it. But he's definitely on it. You know how we know? Because in February, they applied for a 79-year-old man with, what is it? Is it rhetorical obesity? Whatever. He's got, it's not rhetorical. It's retroactive, something like that. He's got obesity that is persistent no matter what the intervention is, largely because he's a shit patient. He's got sleep apnea, and he has pulmonary problems. He's got heart problems. So this patient that was given compassionate use exception through the FDA was 79 years old in March and is now on it. And he has all those things. Wow. If you look at him, and his ankles and his bruising and his speech pattern and his, puffy, like his skin vacillates between puffy and saggy, which is distinct to the day, like enormous. It's like a bullfrog trying to find a mate. His neck blows up and then it shrinks and then it blows up and shrinks. All that is circulatory problems and ill health and bad diet and sodium and buildup and all that shit. I really do think this points to, like, they're counting the days, that there's a cult around him that's trying to keep him alive forever, and they're convincing themselves it'll happen. It's not going to, because you can't put toothpaste back in the tube like that. He's too far gone. But there's half of them hoping he dies before the midterms, and half of them hoping he makes it through. That's it. We're looking at maybe Christmas without Donald Trump. Unless, again, they've got goose juice in the military that they can give somebody that's, super soldier serum they've been working on for a long time. And what the hell, he's 80. Why not experiment on him with it? And it might help get him another year. Yeah. These, but it's not going to make any of the shit he's doing work. That's ultimately kind of my point, is that they can keep him alive or he can collapse and try to get his legacy going. None of it's going to make the algae in the reflecting pool go away. It's not going to make tariffs work instead of taxes.
We will know that he is gone when they refuse to allow him to surface for anything. Mm-hmm. They will put his ass on ice in the bottom in the basement and act like and continue doing their texting as if they are him. And that's what they'll do. That's what they'll try to hold on to that as long as they can.
That's
right.
We
just have to have enough people in Congress willing to stand up and fight and demand that, eyes are on him. And, that's it. That's where we're at.
Yeah. And again, I appreciate you being on, brother. Ojeda for NC.com. What is one of the things you're pushing while you're out on the campaign trail that you think is reaching the folks that are out there the most, and that people are recognizing that something's got to be done, besides the emperor having no clothes?
Well, there's bills that obviously I want to sign on to, like the Ending Citizens United. I want to kill right to work legislation. I want to bring back the fairness doctrine. But like bills for myself, I want to make it the first $45,000 that everybody makes to be tax free. Mm-hmm. And if you think about school service personnel, in North Carolina, we pay our bus drivers $27,000 to drive our most prized possessions to and from school in the rain, sleet, hail, and snow. And we pay them $27,000. If I make the first $45,000 you make to be tax-free, they don't have to worry about paying taxes. And that also affects secretaries. It affects custodians. I'm talking about school service personnel, but there's a lot of jobs out there that don't pay very much money. And if you get the first $45,000 tax-free, that's beneficial for your family. I also would like to tie minimum wage to the cost of living. So if the price of groceries goes up, then the price of minimum wage has to go up. Because, if you work 40 hours a week, you shouldn't have to worry about putting food on the table for your family. So these are things that I'd like to do. But there's lots of other stuff I want to sign on to. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has a bill that's going to cap child care at $10 a day. Elizabeth Warren and Congresswoman Jayapal have the anti-corruption bill saying that members of Congress should not be able to play stocks and not be able to lobby. And I'll definitely sign on to that. So yeah, lots of stuff. I want to maybe remove the cap on Social Security, which would create a $300 billion fund at the end of the year. Yeah, these are the kind of things that I'm spending a lot of times talking about. Giving a 5% wealth tax over $1 billion, which would create $4.5 trillion over the course of 10 years. I'm just trying to support things that I believe is going to help the average American citizen out there. Because that's what this is about. I don't give two shits about your billionaires because they've never given two shits about us. So, and once again, stop defending these billionaires. A million seconds is like 11 and a half days. A billion seconds is 32 friggin' years. A trillion seconds is friggin' like 150 years. Come on. Stop defending these people that do not care about you. If they had done anything, if they solved problems, if they ended hunger, if they ended homelessness, then we'd be fine. We'd support them. They'd be heroes. But they won't. You got daggone Jeff Bezos literally right now talking about the reason why these big AI centers are having a hard time is because people drink too much water. Really? Really? So what? Let's make sure people shouldn't have water to drink. Live on Coca-Cola, asshole. Get out of here with that garbage.
Well, and you can't, though, because Coca-Cola tries to have a stranglehold on water. Don't go looking around at what they did in India to try and get a hold of the water source there that they would need to sell Coke to the rest of the country. A long conversation. Yep. Dude, I appreciate you being on. Thank you so much. Good luck out there. We'll see you very soon.
Airborne. Thanks, my brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. There he goes. Ladies and gentlemen, the major Ojeda for NC.com is the website. What's happening in chat room? I think that Coke is made of water. Right, exactly. They need to use it to, yeah. Let's see. Whoops, sorry. I'm going to try to do this. I'm looking up something. Uh, okay, let me go to here. Yeah, I didn't think so. But either way, this doesn't mean Bezos isn't a dick. But I'll just looking that up. The Bezos quote isn't real about water. That's it's not surprising that we run into these things. But let's see the Quint found the viral quote was fabricated, does not appear in footage from Bezos' appearance at the Viva Tech 2026 in Paris. Despite that, claim spread quietly. Quietly. Listen to me. The claim spread widely across social media. This is the actual thing. No, that's the whole thing. I don't need to watch that for an hour. Well, I'll watch that and report back to you. But yeah. Hi, Gonzo. This is it's sad when a lie sounds so true people believe it. Well, it's again, we have to make sure that one of the reasons you don't buy into the sort of the viral lie situation, besides just it's not advisable, is that it makes it harder when you make a case legitimately later. Look at Rogan. Rogan falls for those things all the time. Okay. I think there's even I wouldn't be surprised, CSL, if there's, let me see if this is actually happening. Hold on one second. Trump is, let's see if this is, I'm going to mute this. It's there. Trump is down at Capitol Hill trying to blather at everybody about why he's not, he's at the Save America Act. I don't know why on this Magno News their chyron underneath it says President Trump delivers remarks at Mack Trucks in Macungie, Pennsylvania. So they still got it up from yesterday. But we'll see if he comes out and says anything. The reality is that they're going to go, dude, you can't. No. Rogan is stupid on purpose. I don't know that he is. I don't know that Rogan is stupid on purpose. I think he think it's like crying wolf. Yes, very much so. Avoid crying wolf at all times. If a quote that supports or goes against your belief system sounds too good to be true, check it out. It's okay. It doesn't mean you have to change your position on stuff. Do any of us, whether or not Bezos believes that, does that change our belief system about, like the value of water for humans? Also, this is so stupid. Like, Rob and I are going to have a hell of a Friday Eye this week, which I will be doing from LA because I've got flappers that night, and so I'm going to drive in late Thursday night. Roseanne is smarter than Rogan. Ouch! Bald Thanos with the roundhouse. That's just rude and yet true. Okay, they're setting up. Look at the panic with the White House coming out. Hold on, check this out. Like, I think it's his press people that are coming out. You're like,
Don't block your calling.
get out of the way. He's coming. He's coming. Oh, get on with it. Clear the space. Get out of his way. His right leg doesn't work. You clear the area. We need more of this for his legacy media. There he comes. Lump, lump, lump.
Mr. President, do you still have confidence in Leader Thune, sir?
Maybe you sign the house bill, sir?
The war is going very well. As you
First of all, it's a war again, everybody. Hurrah!
know, we're winning by a lot.
We're winning the war against houses by a lot.
Iran is making very big concessions.
No, they're not.
We'll see what happens, but
Here's what we'll see. You know what's happening? Shall we do it? Yeah. That's what's happening. This is bullshit. Also, I apologize.
This is some bullshit.
As a nut warning as well. Jesus Christ. Just embarrassing.
This is some.
Sorry. Okay.
it's been very, very, very powerful.
It's been very powerful. What the concessions. Powerful concessions. Virile. Rock hard. Throbbing purple vein concessions that are, they're like the legs on a wrestler. I just want to rub their concessions. All right.
We'll see what happens, but it's been very, very, very powerful.
Why is he out of breath?
It's going very, very well.
Sorry, is he finally getting exhausted by his own bullshit? Where's that song from? I wrote it.
Go ahead.
Buying a home is unattainable for so many Americans. Is this election legislation more important to you than resolving housing crisis?
This is every election's important. We're doing very well. They want a lot of communists to come in. I'm saying it.
Who? The people? I guess. Well, tough shit. Fucking democracy. Am I right?
A little bit differently, but the people that they're pushing are communists, and this country is not going to have communists. Thank you.
This is not really an election integrity thing. It's an anti-communism bill. I'm going to control the elections and choose who you're going to vote for based on whether I think they're communists or not. He's got to go get some oxygen. Holy shit. Oh, wait. Hold on. That was short. Thune's talking to him. He relatively stops Thune to talk because he desperately wants to show the press who's boss. And then look how out of breath he is.
The war is going very well. As you know, we're winning by a lot. Iran is making very big concessions. We'll see what happens, but it's been very, very, very.
What the fuck? They're making very big concessions. He's breathing like a kid who's just been swimming, who comes up and gets a Kool-Aid and just goes, we're playing tag underwater.
Powerful. It's going very, very well.
He's literally Easter egging for good question, like easy questions. Okay, where's the layup? Oh, that's a woman. Fuck that. Where's the guy? Preferably blonde or orange hair from a friendly network or a foreigner, because I never see that one coming.
Buying a home is unattainable for so many Americans. Is this election legislation more important to you than resolving the housing crisis?
This is every election's important. We're doing very well. They want a lot of communists to come in. I'm saying it a little bit differently, but the people that
I'm just saying it a little bit differently. Is that you talking to your own brain like, hey, upstairs, the words you are sending when they come out of my mouth are not the ones I mean to say? Are you just, all right, I'm saying it a little bit differently. What is that?
they're pushing are communists, and this country is not going to have communists. Thank you very much.
Is that what he talked about? Sorry, he went in. They're going to vote in a bunch of communists if you guys don't pass the Save America Act. You mean legitimately? What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my God. So that's special. Yeah, I'm saying it a little bit differently than I meant for the words when they left what's left of my brain and came to my face. Something happened in the interim, and Jesus Christ. Saying it a little differently. Yes, you are. Differently than English, perhaps. Oh, God. Wait, is this? Okay, the Great American State Fair thing is this afternoon on the National Mall. He's got to go out there. I just ate a 6 corn dogs. It like in under 45 seconds. I'm still. Ooh. Oh shit! Look at that guy. Oh, it's sorry. Robot. I saw a robot. It's exciting. Where is? Okay, that's yeah. That's here. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at this happened this morning too, because Mike Johnson was going to go over to the White House for the signing of the housing bill, co-written by Elizabeth Warren. That help me. How can 2 little words be so hard to say? Oh, let's look at Mike Johnson's response to the fact that Trump canceled the get together.
In the process of this press conference, President Trump announced that he is canceling the bill signing for the housing bill that you all were just talking about. He said he's canceling it until the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know. He's got that clear. Like, mm-hmm. Thanks for that. Mm-hmm.
Say that was passed, and hold this housing bill was passed with such bipartisan support. Of minor importance, said it pales in comparison to the same bill. What is your reaction?
Yeah, my reaction is the truth of the matter. I spoke to the president for 20 minutes before I went in and gave that rousing speech to the House Republicans this morning.
Yes, they were very roused. They were. He went in there and he gave them a good rousing. Hold on. I think we have a quote on Trump that about that. Let's see. Yeah.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
Did you now? All right, sure.
Talked about this a lot. He has expressed the priority and the preference of the Save America Act. We share that. We passed it 3 times in the House. The latest version was...
Yeah, you passed one that couldn't pass the Senate because it's a circle jerk.
Passed a few months ago, and it has proof of citizenship to register to vote and the proof of showing a photo ID when you show up to vote. Basic issues that 90% of Americans agree. 70% of Democrats think you ought to have a photo ID to vote. And citizenship to vote in an American election is already in the law. But we have to
Right. And it's already shown because you have to have some form of ID that you showed birth certificate to get in the first place to register to vote anyways.
enforce it because you got a few blue states that don't do that. The president believes in election integrity. He talks about it.
No, he doesn't. Asshole, that wasn't the question. The value of the SAVE Act, you can sell it all you fucking want. Is it more important, a bill that wouldn't go into effect until next year, than signing a bill that already passed the House and the Senate? Is a bill that can't get through the Senate without rigging the rules more important than a bill? You want to talk about democracy and the right to vote? Well, guess what? The people's representatives voted in the House and Senate and passed overwhelmingly this bill. And the one that Trump needs to break the rules. Imagine if this was a regular election, if you will, and Trump wanted to rig the election so that he could get his preferred candidate in. But he refused, and to do that, he's refusing to swear in people that actually, won in a landslide. See how the analogy kind of gets into the sort of fuck you area?
All the time, and we do as well. In act and deed, we have stood for that. We passed the Save America Act again. Here's this. Let me finish this. This is very important.
It's so important. If it got any more important, it would set off my porn alarm.
Is the top priority, because if you do not have safe elections in this grand experiment,
Hold on. If you don't have safe elections, which we do,
and self-governance that we have in a constitutional republic, you don't have anything. And we got to ensure it. We have to press for election.
You're right. And if he got elected, clearly somebody's been monkeying with our election
integrity measures. That's why we've made it a top priority. It has been stuck in the Senate, and here's why. Because no Democrat in the House or Senate will vote for the Save America Act. Those two things I just told you, they vote against that.
Oh, that was his porn alarm going off. Sorry. He said stuck in. And you got to watch certain words trigger it.
Single time, and they will. Why? You ask that. That's a rhetorical question. You should go ask them the actual question. Why? Are you against proof of citizenship and a photo ID? Why is that? They can't give you a cogent answer.
Yeah, I can. Nobody's against it. It just costs money. And if you put it in place, it becomes a poll tax. And if you allow that and it passes the scrutiny of the Supreme Court, that a poll tax is now legal. And then you could eventually charge for elections. Because if you have to pay to get something that allows you to have a right, that you can exercise a right for free. But if you had to have a government car to drive across the country for freedom of assembly, for example, or you could only assemble in government buildings, and the government, if they didn't build a building or sell the government car in your area, you couldn't get to the gathering to have your voice heard, and therefore you've got 3 rights eliminated, including your freedom of speech. So give everybody a free citizen card, like digital ID, dickhead, or a real ID. Everybody gets one. It's your national free photo card. Get it, and you can have it if you want it, but it's free from the federal government. Sign up for it. But they have to pay for it. And you never have to pay one fucking dime. Because if you can establish a poll tax at any point along the way where you need to purchase something to vote, you have to pay a third party to vote, then that is no longer a right, it's a privilege.
The reason is they do want to allow for cheating and fraud in the elections because it is the only way that the Marxists can win. They cannot win on their ideas. That's why this is so important. The president...
Okay, then how did Mom Donnie's 3 people win in the New York races? It's a primary.
To us. So how does that tie into housing? He's laser focused on Save America Act, as most common sense Americans are. The only path, I think, to get that done, because you're never going to get...
Sorry, everybody who's elected right now went through one of these rigged elections. And the idea that somebody's like, oh my God, a Republican lost in Los Angeles, and that's your reasoning behind, oh my God, they're rigging the elections? Are you fucking nuts? They're either rigged or they aren't. They're either easy to rig or they aren't. And state by state, we wouldn't have any Republican representatives at all in California if they were rigged, which we do. We've had multiple Republican governors
7 Democrats to join 53 Republicans in the Senate.
Yes, and also, yes, this will not affect the midterms at all. What it will do, and this is why they want it passed before the midterms, even though the bill does not go into effect until next year, even if they signed it right fucking now. If they signed it 6 weeks ago, if they signed it anytime after January 1st, it doesn't go in effect until next year. So the reason they want to sign it and make a big point of signing it is because a lot of Republicans started not showing up for races, especially primaries and that kind of stuff, because they think it's rigged. And so a lot of the people that are turned off from Trump aren't showing up to vote because they don't like him and they're mad, and Israel Netanyahu, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens reasoning, whether it's the Epstein files, a bunch of them not showing up. But there's also a bunch of people that statistically didn't show up because they think it's rigged anyway, so why bother? And so they're trying to convince those people like, oh, we got it. They're locked. We've fixed the cheating. We caught everybody. Your vote will count, to motivate those people because they can't afford to lose a 0.5 percentage point in a bunch of these races.
Do that. They will not do it. Chuck Schumer will never vote for that or release any Democrat to do it. You have to put it on a reconciliation bill. We believe that if you create a grant program that ties it to reconciling the budget, and you allow blue states, if they come to their senses and they want to avail themselves of election integrity proposals and ideas and policies, they can draw down from a federal fund and use those funds. We're willing to invest heavily in that. And House Republicans will put together a reconciliation bill, Reconciliation 3.0, that will have that. I talked the president through that.
Just do a citizenship card. For real. Just try it. Add that to it. And as a matter of fact, I would recommend a Democrat try to add an amendment where every American citizen is given a citizenship card based on their citizenry. And that, it is one of the things you get when you become a naturalized citizen. And that every, person who was born in America, you automatically get one, because then you don't have to pay your state to do it. If you move to a new state, you don't have to change it and those kind of things. It has your social security number on it. So your registry is not even based on your fucking name. It's based on who you are. But these assholes won't allow it. Why? Because they think it's the fucking mark of the beast.
This morning, as I have.
I'm not kidding. I'm not being facetious. Literally. Without his number, you will not do it. So that's why they hated social security numbers. If you're identified by your social security number, which you are for social security benefits and your taxes and all that shit, then why not with your citizenry?
Fast. And he said, can we do it? I said, we can. If the Republicans will stand together. We're on the line right now to defend it. Hold on.
Yeah. Talk about housing, dickhead. That's what everybody's.
So that's what we're going to do.
Yes, we know you're chastising the Senate. You just know it's not going anywhere, so you can use this as a cudgel forever.
The president said, I want to see some progress on it. I said, I'd love to show it to you. We got a meeting today and some more coming up. And so he decided, and I didn't announce it, I wanted him to announce it, but we're delaying this. As you know, he has
delaying. That's adorable.
a window of time before he has to sign a bill, and he's going to use a little bit more of that window of time, and we're going to go through this together. Now,
then he's going to sign it. Shut the fuck up. He put it off because he's going to go do his fucking July 4th thing, and he'd rather do that, and then he's going to go take a goddamn nap.
Is a great product.
It's the mark of Mr. Beast, right?
Because this guy right here fought like a warrior poet to defend our principles. It did have a lot of Elizabeth Warren's preferences and policy provisions in the original Senate bill, but that's why we spent months and months and months doing the tug of war, and we wound up having 85%, that's my estimate, maybe more, of the housing of the final product.
Well, that's what you told your members. Sorry, did I say members? Damn it. I set off his alarm again. That's not right. That's,
housing, conservative priorities and policies. And the other things that are in there are not consequential. Not as consequential as all the great things that Chairman Hill outlined. I mean, we're addressing it's transformational legislation because
He's going to start reading the talking points he was going to do at the White House when they signed it later today.
We're addressing the affordability problem in housing that, as he said, has persisted since COVID. When interest rates are high and costs are high, it makes the barrier to entry so high that young families can't get into houses anymore. That's not a Republican or Democrat problem. It's an American problem. So Americans are fixing it. And so we're going to reduce regulation.
As opposed to
So builders can build. We're
the Saudi royal family again.
going to limit institutional investing in the housing market. We're going to bring the American dream back within the grasp of hardworking American families. Critical to do.
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth Warren.
Great policy. The president, when we go through the details of the bill, he's going to understand that it's a good product.
Sorry, you haven't gone through the details of the bill with him? It passed overwhelmingly in the House and Senate, and he's unaware of the content of it when it's one of his alleged priorities? No wonder Scalise is as tied to your notes as you are.
And certainly something that...
What are you going to say next? Because you got something written down, right? That actually... I don't know what to say to these people.
Fulfills his promises to bring down the cost. Interest rates is another big priority of his and all of ours. And I think the new Fed chair will do that. We get the
nope.
economy humming again.
Oh, sorry. What? Sorry, he'll do what when what happens? Sorry, real quick, tell us what's going on with the economy?
This is another big priority of his and all of ours. Mm-hmm. And I think the new Fed chair will do that. We get the economy humming again.
He will do that when we get the economy humming again. So it's not humming right now. What is it doing? Lip trills? Is it making farty noises? It was humming before, and now it's just walking down the street going...
We keep the Strait of Hormuz open. We keep gas prices down
keep it open.
To earth. This economy is going to take off like a rocket, y'all. Because
y'all, it's going to take off like a rocket, y'all. Hopefully not like the Bezos rocket the other day. Or
2025, as Scott Bessent said, the Treasury Secretary said months ago, 2025 was like setting the table. The feast and the banquet in the economy is in 2026. We were doing that in the first quarter.
And then something happened. I don't remember what.
The Iran skirmish. We said
skirmish. Sorry. Excuse me. We just checked with Trump, and the war is going very well. We're making breathy concessions. I'm out of breath because I was getting some squats in. I'm a multitasker. I was doing pull-ups, mainly pants.
That thing out. We're cooking with gas. We love to do it. Yeah.
Very expensive gas. Okay. Which is odd because when it comes to Trump,
like the gas.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Understanding that President Trump is going to sign the housing bill at a
yes, he's going to sign it, dum-dum.
later date, and how much later?
You are a terrible person from an awful network. Whatever.
Can it go? Because as you said, affordability is huge for Americans. This is a key bill to do it with. Yeah. If it doesn't get signed by the
time. You're talking about days. You know, the window of time before. Yeah, it just passed last night, right? So 10 days is my estimation. He'll do it within that 10-day window. So, yeah.
Speaking of
okay. Yeah. GOP blindsided by Trump's refusal to sign a bill that passed overwhelmingly because he's a fucking maniac and his brain is turned to tapioca. Couple of things. I want to bring up a couple stories. The reflecting pool, which is doing wonderfully well, beautifully. Trump says it will be drained again for permanent repair. That last thing was temporary. That was just, they're going to make it bulletproof. They're going to use the same glass from the ballroom on the bottom of the pool over the American flag blue. So you can walk up to it and get the view. You can just kind of, oh, hey, let's look at that. Wow. President Trump's sweeping campaign to remake Washington, D.C. is colliding with ballooning costs and algae balloons. Legal challenges and algae-choked reflecting pool that critics say reveals the perils of the administration's build first, plan later approach. Oh, God. Yeah, biggest green screen ever. Look at it. I don't know. It looks fabulous. Just, I don't know. I feel like they're going to clean it up just in time for Earth Day when it would have been perfect. This is the The $600 million ballroom and the legal fight, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the reflecting pool, $14 million renovation, which he was like, I've done 6-7 weeks and it's way better than Obama did it, even though it was fine the last time I was there. Something sad did happen this week that I would like to bring up on the right side of things that is genuinely sad. Camp Mystic, if you'll recall, is the Christian children's camp, the all-girls children's camp where the kids died during that flood in Texas, which Donald Trump used as cover to have Pam Bondi release her memo. It was released that weekend on Sunday night, I think it was. Basically in the news cycle with this, so that people would be paying attention to that. And if you brought up, like, how dare you? And he even used that in the meeting later on, like, I want to say a week or week and a half later, when he was doing one of the cabinets, and he was like, you're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? I mean, we're talking about, he basically called it sacrilegious that they would even bring it up because of we're dealing with flooding and we're dealing with all this other stuff. But the Camp Mystic files for bankruptcy after 28 kids were killed last year. And I guess, I don't know, I'm holding back and more commenting on it, but it is a genuinely sad thing. You had this tragedy and Donald Trump just used it as cover last year. And Republicans have forgotten about it so much that they're not even helping the camp stay in existence or move someplace else. So, this is so weird. There is a ethnic unity clause that was pushed by the Chinese government that's really sketchy as fuck. Just for the record. They pass this thing, and basically, like, they have a right to have legal control over anyone of Chinese birth. China asserted its right to target people beyond its borders under a new ethnic unity law set to take effect on July 1st, with a senior official on Wednesday dismissing foreign criticism of the provision as legally unfounded. The declaration has amplified concerns in Taiwan and among international human rights groups that the law could become a tool of transnational repression, which is already the policy. They just want to make it, legal in their eyes in the world. Speaking at a press conference in Beijing on Wednesday, Vice Justice Minister Hu Weiliang said the extraterritorial clause in the law on promoting ethnic unity and progress is legitimate, lawful, necessary, and feasible, rejecting characterizations of the provision as long-arm jurisdiction. Who said the law targets unlawful acts involving ethnic affairs from outside the country and would effectively safeguard China's sovereignty, security, and development interests. He added that the provision would not affect normal people-to-people exchanges between China and other countries, academic discussions, economic and trade cooperation, or other activities. Article 63 of the law states that organizations and individuals, that would be the people-to-people thing, outside the People's Republic of China who undermine ethnic unity or create ethnic division shall be held legally accountable. The law was adopted by China's National People's Congress on March 12th, passing with 2756 votes in favor. Taiwanese officials and scholars warned the law could give Beijing another legal basis to pursue Taiwanese people it deems as separatists. It also, anybody who is a Chinese student in the United States who is looking to be an American citizen or act like an American while they're over here, they can use Chinese law to scoop them up. They can arrest them on foreign soil. They can supersede American law and abduct people. That's genuinely what this is. Let's see. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council has cautioned the law's vague wording could allow authorities to arbitrarily apply charges. Chen Sherman a political science professor at National Taiwan University, said the law's surface goal of promoting ethnic unity masks its true purpose of holding accountable those deemed to be creating division, which would be anybody who does anything against the Communist Party. Which, if anybody wants to see what that looks like, watch the Congress when they have it together and they go line by line and ask if there's any dissent. And there's a guy at the end of the row that says mayo, which means there isn't any. Not have is literally what that translates in, but that's no. Does anybody have a problem? Mayo, nobody has a problem. The law codifies what critics describe as an assimilationist turn in Chinese ethnic policy under President Xi Jinping. It mandates Mandarin language education starting before kindergarten, requires religious groups. This has been around for a long time, but this is the extension of it. The only difference really is this: we can also snatch people in other countries. Requires religious groups to follow, quote, the direction of Sinicization of religion. So everything has to have a Chinese variation on it, which is the CCP, not the not Chinese culture, because culture would just absorb the Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, or what have you in each, inside the country. They would just make everything. They'd sanitize it for the CCP. That's what it is. And orders all organizations to promote a, quote, strong sense of community for the Chinese nation. Human rights, which means supersedes borders. Chinese nationality and Chinese ethnicity supersedes any other border. It's really gnarly shit. And it's very close to what the Japanese were doing, ironically enough, pre-World War II. It's very close to what the Germans were trying to do throughout Europe as they created kind of linkages between the German communities in those areas so that they could set them up as satellites. It's what the Russians do with their with the churches they set up. Benevolent societies in the United States started out as just exactly that, and then turned into like gangster organizations, and now have become arms of the CCP. It's just weird. Like, and people react to these things as if they're all, let me use an analogy that I think a lot of people can understand. They're all Caroline. No, I won't even go further than this. They're all Mike Lindell's crucifix. Okay? Doesn't mean everybody that wears a crucifix is full of shit, but he sure the fuck is, and he uses that as a key to get through things, right? And orders all organizations to promote a strong sense of unity. Okay, Human Rights Watch said the law provides a broad legal framework to justify existing repression and forced assimilation of minority populations. It's inside the country already. That's already been there. The outside the country part is what's fucked up. And this is also one of the things you get when you have somebody like Donald Trump in charge, because all bets are off. Authoritarians are taking their cues from Trump and going, all right, shit, if he's going to do that, then we're going to do whatever we want too. And no one will stop us. You could just bulldoze your way through all of this stuff. This is, one other thing. And we're going to do, where was it? I want to show you the XAI stuff. Emerge warning because everybody's talking about how Elon Musk is the world's first trillionaire because the company is worth $1 trillion and it's his name is on it, or is, he's associated with it, which is not how any of this shit works, but whatever. And where it's up, let me find this again. Yeah, here you go. And Reid Hoffman brought this up. So that SpaceX AI, which is XAI, they folded under SpaceX basically, so you and I can pay for it because money that goes to SpaceX is also going to XAI to keep it afloat. We're all paying for the Colossus, AI shactory down in Memphis with our tax dollars. Just so you know, just to be clear. Here it is. The financial toll of Elon Musk's artificial intelligence ambitions has come into sharp focus with SpaceX's IPO filing revealing that its AI division lost $6.4 billion from operations in 2025 on just $3.2 billion in revenue because Grok sucks. And that's the point. A loss that more than quadrupled from the prior year. Now, they're spending a lot right now. They're in the spending spree. So that masks the output is going to outweigh the income for and a lot of these companies. And they're going to hide behind that because, like, we're not losing money, we're investing. Well, Grok is already where it is. They already have that thing up and running. They're not expanding the way Meta and these other guys are building these giant fucking warehouse buildings that won't ultimately house AI at all. These data centers that are dead in the water before they even fucking start. It's half of Trump's, $18 trillion is these fake fabs that aren't, or the fake AI data centers that aren't going to be built. They are not. There's not enough electricity and water and chips, just the material. There's not enough fucking girders available. It's so dumb. Anyways, the disclosure arrived as LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman publicly dismissed SpaceX as not an AI company. Well, duh. Calling XAI a failure in a podcast appearance this month. The IPO filing, which marked its first public look at XAI's standalone finances, showed losses ballooning from $1.56 billion in 2024 to $6.36 billion in 2025, a 307% increase, or decrease, as it were. Revenue growth, meanwhile, was a modest 22%. No. It's not profits, it's revenue, it's money coming in, but I don't think any of it counts. Far below the triple-digit expansion reported by rivals like OpenAI and Anthropic, which is one of the reasons why the Trump administration is trying to throttle Anthropic a little bit. In the first quarter of 2026, because Elon Musk has a chip on his shoulder, they figured like Musk would go after OpenAI and the government will take care of Anthropic and help Grok out. The losses continued to mount. The AI segment posted a $2.47 billion operating loss on $818 million in revenue in the first quarter. They lost $2.47 billion in the first quarter of this year. Do you understand? Stop telling me Elon Musk is a genius. Fucking stop it. Research and development costs of $5 billion drove much of the deficit, right? While AI segment capital expenditures are now running at an annualized $30.8 billion pace in 2026, Musk dissolved XAI as a standalone entity in May, folding it into SpaceX under a new division called SpaceXAI. All 11 of XAI's original co-founders had departed by late March of 2026, with Musk acknowledging that the company wasn't built right. Sorry, maybe, I don't know. Maybe don't spend almost $3 billion a quarter until your company is built right. Fucking hell. Hoffman tells in a podcast this month, Hoffman, who holds investments in both Anthropic and OpenAI, argued that SpaceX's recent IPO used AI as a core selling point, but that the company does not qualify as an AI firm. It's because it has one, but it sucks. He characterized XAI's core large model business as having completely collapsed, noting that Grok consistently trails products from Anthropic and OpenAI on benchmark tests. Why are they quoting Reid Hoffman when I have been saying this all along, and I never met Jeffrey Epstein. Hoffman also pointed to SpaceX's deal to lease its Colossus 1 supercomputer to Anthropic. Oh, God. And its acquisition of coding startup Cursor as evidence that SpaceX is buying its way into AI credibility, rather than building it. Boy, does that sound familiar. Despite the broader struggles, XAI now operating as SpaceXAI, which it just gets dumber all the time. It's just getting, we are just trapped in the stupids. We just are. This is where, despite broader struggles, XAI now operating as SpaceXAI. has pushed aggressively into video and image generation. They're going to crack porn for this. This is where they're going. Grok's fucking roundhouse or sweep the leg is that he's planning on being the first major model to allow porn. I'm not kidding. In late May, it released Grok Imagine Video 1.5, which generates 720p video clips with native audio in a single pass, which again is fucking pegged off of another model. The model claimed the top position on the image to video arena leaderboard. The push into generative media targets an opening as competitors like OpenAI have been slower to widely deploy their own video tools. No, they haven't. It's been fits and starts because what people will use it for is by and large trouble. So that's why they roll it back. But Musk doesn't give a shit. And Trump's not going to let the FEC or the SEC come after him about it. Whether the pivot to creative media can offset XAI's broader competitive decline, ouch. I mean, I might have even said stagnation, but decline, god damn. Grok's daily active users fell from 13.9 to 12.2 between March and April this year, even as Anthropic's Claude grew 44% over the same period. That's because of the Claude boys. These are the same kind of manosphere incel types that Musk regularly targets. Those are the guys who jumped over and became Claude boys. You think they'll try and pull a Dave with Trump? No. I think they will roll him around in a chair like Admiral Pike. But Hal, what happens if you don't jump in early on SpaceX's IPO? The $1 trillion, you're going to make money. Oh, shit. SpaceX shares slide below IPO price as global tech rout deepens. Yes, led by them. A bunch of people taking fucking tech winnings as the growth on that and putting it into oil, thinking it's going to go back, like that the processing, the refineries and shit like that are going to go up again because the oil's flowing again. Or they're moving it into cash because people need to borrow cash to buy the oil they'll need now that it's back on the market. Fuck me. SpaceX shares fell sharply in pre-market trading on Tuesday, threatening to push the company's market capitalization below $2 trillion for the first time since its record-breaking initial public offering less than 2 weeks ago. Don't buy cult stocks. The stock traded near 148 before the opening bell, slipping below its June 12th debut price of 150 after closing Monday at 154, following a 16% single-day plunge that wiped out roughly $400 billion from its market. The sell-off marked the fourth consecutive session of declines for the aerospace and space. Breaking news, a federal judge on Wednesday permanently barred Trump from requiring people to show documentary proof of citizenship when they registered to vote. Lincoln by, okay, cool. And again, the states can do it. The federal government can do it. Trump can't insist that it's the law without Congress. Over 3 trading days, and without providing people with the right. Because again, can somebody just, if the SAVE Act passed, just take it to the Supreme Court and go, it's a poll tax unless you provide everybody with a photo ID. If you have to pay for a photo ID and it's not free, you either have to give block grants to the states to pay for it so everybody gets an ID for free, or fuck you. All right, anyways, so peak near $3 trillion in market capitalization June 16th. Over 3 trading days through Monday's close, SpaceX shed more than $600 billion in value. A decline Bloomberg reported as the second largest one-day loss suffered by any company. That's from the Irish Times, because they'd fucking tell you. Yeah? SpaceX's slide coincided with a sweeping global technology sell-off on Tuesday. South Korea's Kospi plunged 10%, triggering a circuit breaker halt. With the NASDAQ composite fell more than 2%. The S&P declined 1%, which is nothing. Chipmakers bore the brunt of the damage. Micron Technology dropped more than 11%. NVIDIA falling 3%. Yikes. ASML falling 5%. Again, these are fucking correction. And like, if this is 1987, 3% is fucking news. Right now, it's not. Anyways, so the point I'm trying to make is that Grok is shit and everyone knows it. And you can't polish that turd by hiding it under XAI. All right. This is he back out of this? No. Oh, Jesus. Gonna do this in 1 second. Save to watch later. Okay. That's still there's still no further word on Trump. Yeah, I don't know that he said anything else since he ran off. And still waiting on Hegseth to brief everybody. Trump stakeout on TV. Yeah, they're still there. Nope. Yeah, I don't. This is. Nope. Yikes. All right. Yeah, there's no. And he hasn't said anything further. He's just hiding out from Republicans elsewhere. And then I just wanted to check one more thing, and there you go. News. Yeah. Nope. Oh, look at this. Somebody's been watching the show. Oh, Ted Lieu, what's happening, brother? Chairman Aguilar. By the way, Ted Lieu suggests Trump is being treated for terminal illness. GI. Tell me you watch the show without telling me you're watching the show.
Inflation is up. Grocery prices are up. Utility costs are up. Housing prices are up.
Donald Trump's weight is up. His blood pressure is up.
We have a bipartisan housing bill that both the Congress and Senate passed. There was supposed to be a big signing ceremony today in the Capitol, and then all of a sudden, Donald Trump decides he's not coming to sign the bill. Well, why is that? Did he wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Is he unable to stay awake today? What's causing him to chicken out again? Is it Taco Wednesday? Or is it side effects?
Hold on. Wait, that's really one of the... You think he's just scared of this? All right.
Raise your taco, take a bite. Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be all right. Raise your taco.
It's a possibility. It's a possibilities. Hold on.
From a drug. We don't know. This erratic behavior of the president is very concerning. He has trouble staying awake at multiple White House events and cabinet meetings. He has clearly some weakness in one of his arms. He's got swelling in his hands. And
his ankles.
White House needs to come clean. What we know is there's a report saying that one person in America got this special new drug. It was a 79-year-old person who was very high profile, and this drug can only be given to someone under the compassionate use provision, meaning you do that if someone basically has a terminal illness. So we need to know, did Donald Trump get this special drug from Eli Lilly, and did he get it under that provision?
Yes. Yes, he did. Also, like, retatrutide is not like, any of the MABs or, the monoclonal antibody shit. It's not going to fix what ails you in that regard, especially if your brain is already cooked, right? That's what I'm saying. Stay healthy till 2030. That's all you got to do. Keep your brain and your body in basic working order and try not to decay too much in the next 4 years. Some people are beyond health.
If he did, why is that the case?
So what he's talking about is retatrutide. So retatrutide is a GLP-3. Let me see if I can bring up something to explain this. Now, This is where we go to. This is, dude. Yeah. Here's I mean, there's shit tons of videos if people want to look at it or whatever. But it's here's what happens when you buy, like, here's dude taking retatrutide. You ready for the Retta revolution? They're gonna okay it this fall. The retatrutide doesn't just help with fat loss; it does it too. It like helps with liver fat and other stuff. Retatrutide is insane for fat loss. Here's the catch. Weight loss has gotten easy. 12 weeks on Retta. Everybody's doing the Retta. Deep dive on Retta. A lot of weightlifters using the Retta. And this dude's using just the needles. Why retatrutide is the most effective fat loss peptide? Let's see. Let's look at the side effects. Hold on.
Retatrutide might be the most powerful metabolic drug we've ever seen. Yes, it can drive faster weight loss, improve inflammation, insulin sensitivity, and even some longevity biomarkers. But it's not for everyone, and it can have side effects. Retatrutide is a strong medication that acts on 3 different hormone pathways.
There he goes. Hold on. Pause. So GLP-1, which is what Ozempic is, glucagon, and GIP, which is for fat metabolism and insulin. This is why he's pre-diabetic if he hasn't been diabetic for a long time and just limped past it, or it's kicking in now. Why is he talking into his fist? He's carrying a little.
Also comes with risk.
He's holding one of those little microphones, I'm guessing.
Because of his.
Or he's about to cough. That's a possibility as well. Or he's making a pass at you.
Higher chemical signaling profile. Like other GLP-1s, it can cause nausea, vomiting, and slow digestion. Hyperstimulation of the glucagon receptor can potentially cause an immune response where people can get swollen lymph nodes, skin hypersensitivity, and issues resembling systemic fatigue. The key is working with someone who
issues resembling systemic fatigue.
Really knows how to adjust the dosage, monitor side effects, and find the right fit, whether that's retatrutide or something else entirely. Retatrutide might.
Okay, so anyway, so that's that. Just so you know, so the story is, the idea is that he's on, that they're giving him retatrutide. I would guess they're giving him a bunch of other shit as well, and I think at this point, again, for the average person or for a healthy person, the side effects on something like this aren't going to be that big a deal. But if you're 80 years old and you got a shit diet and you've all but stopped golfing and they're doing, it's not it's not an emergency medicine. It's not topical. Yeah, the skin rash also could be a possible side effect on it. And yes, he's on something. I don't doubt that he's also on like a steroid regimen, not anabolic steroids, but just like I've never been on them, but the kind of stuff. Like I said, they give some. You have to, when people are on chemo, they get an injection. Yeah, there it is. Danton Jennings, thanks. Put that in there. Let's see if this pops in. Yeah. June 2026 stat, right? I posted the stat article on my Blue Sky. Reported Eli Lilly and the FDA. I wonder if Trump knows anybody. Have you heard of them? If he knows anybody at either of those. Granted a 79-year-old single patient access to retatrutide, an experimental triple hormone receptor agonist agonist weight loss drug. The application was requested in April by an NIH clinician to treat refractory obesity. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Refractory obesity. That means it's you've tried everything except eating right and exercising and not stuffing your face with McDonald's and also not snorting stimulants and overtaxing your adrenals so that you... Anyways, all right. With obstructive sleep apnea and pulmonary hypertension. This magical 79-year-old who knows somebody at the NIH, at the FDA, and at Eli Lilly and got a special dispensation The identity of the patient was not disclosed, prompting speculation and White House denials that it was President Donald Trump. Now, I don't know that that's true, Danton Jenkins, that it was refractory obesity. That's the phrase. That's crazy. I don't know that they denied it. They referred people and chat and criticized the news. Oh, we're gonna raid Cliff. Okay, I'm over. I'll see you guys this afternoon for the regular show. We'll cover a lot more of this stuff. But just so you know, that's what they've got him on. They've also, I guarantee, they've got him on a bunch of other shit right now. They're gacking him up. They're gonna probably have him on a peptide regimen, like he's fucking prepping for a weightlifting thing. And some of these things have amazing impacts. But again, they really. I don't know that they brought anybody back from dementia. You know what I mean? They can slow the roll of it, but a lot of these things, I don't know that he's a decent enough. Hold on, I'm getting messages. Are you all right? We're okay. Just checking. Yes. So again, we'll watch this happen, but that's part of the reason why he'll seem gacked up. All right. Enjoy Cliff. Tell him I said hi, everybody who's joining in over there, and I will see you this afternoon for Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live stream. We picked up in subscribers. Thank you. And a clip of Trump from March, man, in the decline, and now even I caught a last week tonight from April last night, and they ran clips of Trump from March, man, the decline to now, even the O'Donnell coverage of 2020 Swan interview. Oh yeah, it's night and fucking day. Absolutely. Thank you so much to Sugar Fatigue. Thank you. I'm glad you feel informed by the details in the Iran deal. I'm doing my best to try and explain this to people, and I'm amazed that no one else is bothering. The Midas guys are doing a fairly good job of it or whatever, but they're talking in kind of generalities about it. And a lot of them haven't pointed out the fact that, again, the final clause means that only 5 of the clauses are go into effect on signing, and the rest of it is we'll see, which is not an MOU. Winning war against the pool 2. Yes, it's going very well. We're fighting the Ninja Turtles. There was a study on Chris Hayes' show last night that said Elon Musk is technically responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths because of Doge. How does that monster sleep at night? Because he doesn't see that as a negative. Again, do you think Ayn Randian people worry about what happens to other human beings? It's just, anytime somebody else dies, it's just proof to themselves that they're winning the Darwin race. Just saying. So, appreciate you guys. I will see you this afternoon. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else, okay? Hit the like, share the show.
Still warm with a ghost of us. Naming my mouth cuts too much. Half a thought and it folds in two. Like a bruise leaves a mark on me. You don't hurt in my shaking hand. Know something I don't understand. Like ghosting at the edge of me. Something there that I just can't see. You hear that too? Or is it just me? It's the same sad song, empty space.